What's up, everybody? My name is Hassan, aka Sani Bravo. I'm a small business owner, personal trainer by trade, and a single father. And today I got a special breakdown for you. We're gonna break it down from the beginning to the end to the current, the whole situation from start to finish about just Pearly Things, everybody involved. This is the whole beef breakdown. Oshay Duke Jackson versus just Pearly Things. So just like anybody, I enjoy watching a good YouTube beef. But there was something about this situation in particular that hit a little different and had the whole black YouTube over the past 3 months coming at just Pearly Things head hard.
Karens are needed. I'm not saying like sometimes we're in the wrong, but I honestly think like Karens are the ones that do the shit that no one else wants to do.
Right.
I'm pro Karen.
Watch what she says next in reaction.
It's 90% white in 1965, and it's going to be 80% non-white in 2100, and say that's the same place.
So that's why they call you a white supremacist.
That is why they say that.
Because you feel like by changing the entire demographic makeup of a country, it's going to completely change the country.
Exactly, yeah. How do you feel? Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I mean, did you think that makes me a white supremacist to say that?
No, that kind of makes sense. Your argument was the Holocaust was not special and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I mean, but you kind of deny it happened.
Yeah, I deny some of the parts of it.
You deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You think they're embellished upon.
I think they're embellished, yeah.
The same way. This sounds, oh gosh.
Oh boy.
They're going to be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too.
Now, though, that's her in her own words. 2 weeks ago, not 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago.
Ever since that Nick Fuentes interview, it's just been up all over black YouTube. Even Abba and Preach got involved in the situation, and they've been going at her tough.
When you come on Pearly Things, yeah? All right? We've got best smoke for you. And where are you now?
Listen, you've sat down and you've ate off just Pearly Things by tagging us, yeah? And your production is not our production. Our production is big out here. You get me? I got bare smoke for you lot, bro. Both of you lot. I got smoke for Abba and Preach, bro.
You ain't saying shit now, right?
I'm pretty sure this dude's unemployed now.
You ain't saying shit now.
Yeah.
If you come in, cause
she fired his ass.
When you come for Pearly Thing, where you now? Where's the smoke? Where's your cigar? Where's your cigarette? Where is it? Because when you come from one of us, yeah. And what about when people come from one of y'all? What's she gonna do? Nothing.
Listen, I'll say this about Pearl.
Fuck out of here, clown.
Before, her videos were like, whitest girl in the world reacts to new rap song. Whitest girl in the world reacts to ABBA and Preach. Whitest, I'm like, okay, this racial dynamic that she keeps playing into is corny and cringe as fuck. But she saw it as a marketing ploy. That was her in to get in, right? She then transitioned to the next step, which is like, oh, I see what Kevin Samuels and some of these other red pills are doing. Let me try to emulate that. So she inserted herself, and she was just talking. And I was like, y'all don't find it fucking weird that a white woman who grew up in a extremely wealthy, in some rural part of America.
So I'm going to show you the front of the house.
Is making her career giving marriage and life advice as some young 22, 23-year-old to older black women. I'm like, you ain't got any Asian, any Latinos, white women to critique? No, black women. So I was already looking at her a little bit weird, and she invited me a bunch of times. I never wanted to go on.
You got a white female YouTuber coming into the Black Manosphere space, exploiting the dysfunction of black dating issues, being exposed, not only associating with racists, but for saying a whole bunch of racist statements herself. And the crazy thing is, she became one of the most popular content creators to pick up the mantle ever since Kevin Samuels passed. So naturally, Oshay took issue with that and put out, I call them diss tracks, but really just response videos to her fuckery relentlessly.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Oshay Duke Jackson. So Jason Black, the business, gives out the business. And just Pearly Things called him out by name and tried to basically use the fact that he had a disagreement with Kevin Samuels and took shots at Kevin Samuels. That's what she's trying to say. So she tries to play this particular clip, but I want you to hear the magnificent response. This is one of the best responses I've heard on this. Listen to how the brother breaks her down.
Did you really think you were going to try to play? Because y'all got to understand, when you're dealing with the white supremacist female, that's why her video was sitting up here quoting Fresh and Fit versus Abba and Preach. So in her mind, this is, oh, let me see if I can pit black folk against each other. Because, you know, they'll be eager to do that. So she quotes Abba and Preach a bunch of times in reference to juxtapositions against Fresh and Fit. So this is supposed to get all of us. This is supposed to be her saying, hey, I can turn you Negroes against each other.
This business guy, he did this shit to Kevin Samuels, the godfather of the Manosphere.
The problem. You see, the problem with Kevin the Perfume Don, let me put y'all up on some manhood for a moment here and some real facts. Because by the way, did you think a Perfume Don comment was going to send me running? You didn't confront anything I said about you, though. Well, let's change the subject to Kevin. No, let's keep the subject on you and your good buddy, Nick Fuentes.
We're not here because of what Jason Black said. What about what you said? See, sometimes people want to go ahead and divide and conquer. Let's turn black people against Jason Black because of what Jason Black said about Oshay Duke Jackson, maybe, or whoever else. Oshay, he put you on probation. He put you on. No. I'm not dealing with none of that. Let's get back to what the brother's talking about. The brother is talking about your foolish ass statements and your behavior and your proclivities. He's dealing with a concept that you cannot respond to intelligently. So therefore, you're trying to go ahead and deflect and get out of the position. No, let's go back to the position. She has never really dealt with blacks who can answer intelligently, pose questions in which she cannot respond to, and put your back up against the wall. Because once he gets you back to that position, you can't get around that. Now she's calling people like me undercover feminists. What does feminism gotta do with what we're dealing with?
Stupid.
We didn't come after you about your talking points about women. As much as people say you have grifted that information, I never came after you about that. In fact, when I was actually in the Black Manosphere, I know you had guys over there that liked you, which is why I didn't deal with it. I was being political. To be real, a lot of things when I was over in the Black Manosphere, I was political. Certain things I just didn't say. Now I'm over here where I belong, which is how I always kind of been over here. Now I don't give a damn. I gotta call it for what it is.
For some reason, there was something about this white girl living in the UK from the suburbs of Illinois or Chicago, suburbs of Chicago somewhere, that people just gravitated to, and I, for the life of me, could not figure out what it was. As a matter of fact, for the longest, I didn't even know how popular she had become until women started calling her the woman king of the Manosphere, or of the Black Manosphere specifically, and apparently that was supposed to be an insult, which I could see why, because why do we even have this white girl in the Black Manosphere of all places supporting her the way that guys were in the first place?
Pearl is culturally white. The lost cause narrative is the basis of white culture in America. It's not a mistake, and it's not surprising to hear that she's got a little bee in her bonnet about slavery and how bad it was and how bad it wasn't. See, her being culturally white was not a benign thing when it comes to being in these predominantly black spaces, because our spaces are not culturally white. They culturally black. And she's got a little bee in her bonnet. Likes to put black people on the spot about slavery, about it not being that bad. Not as bad as black people try to exaggerate and make it as if the brutality of slavery is not known as a historical fact, not as a figment of our collective imagination. The lost cause narrative is based in slavery ain't that bad. See, the ownership, blacks owning slaves back in the day or whatever, that's said in order to offset the brutality of chattel antebellum slavery, because that's supposed to make it to where if black people were doing it, and they don't talk about the small scale on which that was happening, that makes it where what was the problem when white people were doing it? What did we just say the purpose of the lost cause was? What was the reason that they came up with that narrative? It wasn't just to cover up the fact that they lost in the Civil War, but also it became the philosophical foundation for the racial violence and the terrorism employed to reverse Reconstruction and reimpose white supremacy in the Jim Crow era. And its acceptance in the North and the South facilitated a national reunion. They came back together following the war at the cost of civil rights of African Americans. That was the purpose of it. The purpose of it. She couches this slavery argument in the midst of putting black women on the spot and fighting feminism. Now, black women, let me have a sidebar with you for a minute. There's a reason why she thinks you're a weak point to attack. Because white supremacy has always used black women as a weak point to attack. So she's using the script. The script that Kevin Samuels used to get famous ain't the only blueprint she followed. Get me? She's couching it under getting black women straight about slavery, because too many times black women have been suckered into, like feminism, white people's narratives and games, believing the stuff that they say and following up behind what they do. See, she know black women will follow a white woman, especially against black people, if she thinks that there is some boon or some benefit to her doing that. So y'all, watch your back. Like I said in a previous video months ago, we already got a lesson from white women about our men and about the history of us. We already got a lesson. That's why we in the situation we in. That's why my channel exists. That's why Sister Danica channel exists. That's why Sister Six, the Goddess, got a channel. Because we already fell for the okie doke. The biggest channel that talk about these issues don't have any solutions for them. So you tell me what's going on. See, Kevin Samuels was trying to give solutions. They may not have liked how he was doing it or what he was saying, but he was actually resolving things. He was giving the solution to a lot of the issues that black women and black men were having.
When the disrespect was discovered, then that's when all hell broke loose for her and her channel and the people around her, including Sarah Garvey. And he exposed some of her racist ways, treating her whole setup and the people around her basically like a mini plantation. The people who came to bat for Just Pearly Things after the blatant disrespect was surprising. Mind you, Jason Black and Oshay aren't really friends, and Jason Black was a critic of Kevin Samuels while he was alive. And they had a back and forth for a little while, Oshay and Jason Black, to where they weren't really seeing eye to eye. But I guess that beef kind of settled over, because I remember the live stream, Oshay did basically saying, like, I don't have no problem with Jason Black like that. I respect his work, but just don't come at me crazy, was the gist of the situation. So they pretty much seems like they squashed the beef. As far as they know, they squashed the beef, and I should know, we talk pretty frequently. So it seems like they squashed the beef in that situation. But he got this footage of the things she said, and it was on and popping. From there, I mean, video after video, every day it's a new controversial clip coming out, new information being discovered, and videos where Oshay just taking a #2 all over Just Pearly Things, and it caused beefs between her and him and people in her crew, and people in her crew attacking other people that make videos. It was just a whole thing. It was a whole situation. And then you had guys from the Black Manosphere coming to her defense. And this is where things get a little tricky, because you got Mamiya Obsidian Ali, one of the GOATs of the Manosphere, one of the originals in the Manosphere, caping for her. And a lot of people, when I made the video, they was in my comment section talking about Obsidian was defending her as well, which took me by surprise. And out of respect, I didn't say nothing or, you know, go to his channel and comment or nothing like that. But that's like, damn, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on? Same thing with Anti Daniels. I like his channel. I like his content. I disagree with his stance on reparations and you know, certain conservative talking points he has. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm just a real nigga. Like, I don't care about none of that shit like that. Like, I go issue by issue. I don't identify with the whites. But like, when he was vehemently going out of his way to defend her, I'm looking like, why? Like, is she cashing you out? Like, I know she's not cashing you out. You got money. Like, what is the real purpose? For the life of me, I remember Bernard Riley did a live stream, and he was saying, oh, people are only, something along the lines of, a lot of guys are getting upset doing this woke thing, and we're supposed to be logical in the manosphere. And the whole time I'm thinking, okay, you can be logical and have self-respect at the same time. You're not supposed to let somebody disrespect your ancestors and your family and what you represent. Like, is this the Black Manosphere or what? Are we just gonna fall in line behind what the white guys are doing? I thought we doing our own thing, and to do our own thing, we have to have self-respect and self-determination, rules and regulations. And so like, how we gonna let this chick be in the Black Manosphere running shit? And people say she didn't run shit, we don't have a leader, but she had the most numbers, and she was highly successful, supported by more than everyone else, including Fresh and Fit. I mean, well, she had more subscribers. I wouldn't say she had more super chats and all that, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Things is getting crazy. Bruh, it surprised me. Even the lead attorney was like rocking with her after all, like mind blowing. And MTR was doing a live stream talking about a situation where he was out there in the UK and he had just finished recording a bunch of episodes with her, and Melanie King was out there, and then he gets back to find out this whole controversy, and then he's on live and people are, yo, you gonna respond to what's going on with Pearly? You gonna respond to what's going on with your girly Pearly? And he's like, what do you talk about? And he's playing the evidence, and all of a sudden the evidence just becomes more convincing. He was watching the Jason Black video, and then there's like more racist, and it's like, he's trying to look out, like, it's like, I'm trying to look out for my homie, and then it just looks worse and worse. And then he's like, all right, we're gonna have to hold her accountable now. Like, I ain't got no choice. And that's how the beef between them started, because he's like, I can't associate myself with this chick no more. She's disrespectful.
I wish you luck, and you know,
I don't.
Wow.
I really don't. I don't wish luck to racists.
Oh, I'm not racist.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, Nick.
Yeah, I am a little bit racist.
And the Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy.
Because of these actions, and Pearl, we had a one-on-one conversation before I recorded this video, and I told you I can no longer work with you. Pearl, you f***ed up.
She don't respect our community. She's just a grifter trying to get bread out of the black community's pockets, period. And if you can't see that at this point, you're willingly ignorant. You have to see it at this point. I mean, all the exposés coming out from different channels left and right with more and more of this bullshit she's been spewing out of her goofy mouth with these goofy white supremacists she likes to hang out with and support and read their books constantly. Come on, man, stop it. So the divide in the Black Manosphere keeps widening further and further as Oshay makes more videos exposing just Pearly Things, and as more people come in the comment section putting their little cape on, defending and simping for her. The divide got crazy, and eventually Oshay decided, I'm leaving the Manosphere. Fuck all this bullshit. It's just like, I can't rock with you guys if y'all are gonna defend this white supremacist who's in our space disrespecting our space. Like, this is something that was supposed to be built for us to benefit, not from some grifter chick who just says what you want to hear and happens to be white. If you don't know, you don't know. But there's no excuse for, like, once you're no longer ignorant and someone tells you something and you know what's going on, there's no excuse for the behavior that a lot of you guys have displayed in the Just Pearly Things situation, because that's straight coon to the max. It's straight raccooning. Even the African Diaspora channel, shout out to Phil from the African Diaspora channel, he had to go in on her. He's like, man, what's going on? What are we doing here? It's like guys from who aren't even in the Black Manosphere space are getting pulled into what's going on in our space, because this is such a crazy dynamic that we have going on here sometimes, to where we got some of these self-hating guys in our space. And I'm like, how the fuck did y'all get in here? Like, I didn't know this was a thing. Where did y'all come from? I thought this was for us. I mean, the dude was at the M3 podcast. This dude had her on an interview, and she talking about it's bad faith and whining and crying because he's just asking her questions. And I'm just like, why can't people just have a difference of opinion, bring up statements that you made, and ask you questions to get some clarity on your views on how slavery just wasn't as bad as we say it was? What's wrong with that? At the end of the day, all I can say is study your history, read if you like reading, watch documentaries, just put yourself up on some knowledge, so that if you're, let's say if you're a content creator, or even if you're not, don't put out no information out here that's gonna hurt you and your own community. And when someone checks you on something, why don't you look into it and see why they're checking you on that, rather than reacting emotionally because you feel like someone's coming against you. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we really are all we got when it comes down to it. So we're gonna build a strong base. We can't have this division over simple things like this, where we just allow ourselves to be disrespected like it's no big deal. Because if you don't have self-respect, you don't got nothing. Sani Bravo, Action Open Talk. Holla at y'all next time. 100.